Hi K-Astrology family, welcome back, and if you're new to this channel, welcome. My name is Cailin, and on K-Astrology I post all kinds of content related to astrology, tarot, spirituality and occult knowledge. So if this kind of content interests you, please subscribe to my channel. You can also find me on Instagram, where I'm very active, on Twitter and on Facebook as well. This month I'm going to be doing a new series on all 12 astrological signs and how the astrological events of October are going to impact those signs. So please watch your ascendant sign video, otherwise known as your rising sign, first and foremost, ahead of sun or moon signs. Despite the fact that you may identify more with your moon sign or your sun sign, you will get the most accurate reading if you watch my ascendant sign video. By all means, you can watch all three, but if you're only going to watch one today, watch your ascendant sign video. So for the month of October, it's pretty jam-packed full of lots of things going on. The most important one, I think, is that we're starting to feel the effects of the Mercury Retrograde pre-shadow period, which is always about 2 weeks-ish before Mercury actually stations retrograde. That will be on the 14th of October. But you'll definitely be feeling those energies from the beginning of October. You might even feel that from the end of September. I've certainly been feeling that myself. And anyone who's a Gemini rising or Virgo rising, sun or moon, you will feel that more strongly than anyone else, as will Scorpio for this month. So with Mercury being in retrograde until November the 4th or 5th, you are going to find that exes are going to be popping up out of the woodwork, whether that's ex-partners, ex-friends, or people who used to be in your life. It doesn't have to necessarily have ended on bad terms, but you'll just find that people start messaging you out of the blue or calling you out of the blue to catch up or just to chat. And that's going to have a big impact on wherever you have Scorpio in your birth chart. That is where Mercury will be transiting. For the rest of the month, we will also be seeing Pluto turning direct on the 4th of November, and we're going to see 2 full moons this month, a full moon in Aries on the 1st of October and a full moon in Taurus on the 31st of October. And in addition to that, Venus will be in Virgo for almost the entire month. And we've got a couple of other things happening in the month as well. So enough of the preamble, I'll get into the individual videos now. So make sure you are watching the right video for you. And like I said earlier, you can definitely watch all 3 for your sun, moon and rising. Hi Gemini, sun, moon and risings. Welcome to your monthly report for October 2020. We have a jam-packed month, especially for you Gemini, because your ruling planet Mercury is retrograde for half the month, but it's in pre-shadow effect from the beginning of the month. So if you're feeling a little bit scatterbrained, or that things aren't going to plan, or you're already starting to have miscommunications with people, or you're hearing back from people like exes, ex-partners, friends or whatever, people you're just like, why the hell are you contacting me? That's why. Thank you, Mercury retrograde. It does happen 3 or 4 times a year, and given that you're a mutable sign and it happens so often, you guys are pretty used to this. It's nothing to fear. You are very adaptable, and you know, having your planet go Mercury so many times a year is just part and parcel with being a Gemini. Yay, fun for us. I'm a Gemini rising, by the way. So with the full moon in Aries on the 1st of October, this is going to be happening in your 11th house of friendship circles, networking, acquaintances. It also rules your long-term goals and aspirations. And building up to this full moon in Aries, you've been doing a lot of revising and tweaking your long-term goals, your plans. You might have even distanced yourself from a few people in your friendship network because you're realizing that your views just aren't aligning with theirs, and you know, maybe their energy sucks, and that's completely fine, Gemini. You are so popular. You, more than anyone, are capable of making new friends everywhere you go. So don't stress too much with this full moon in Aries. If you end up having an unexpected fallout from a friend, whether they lash out at you or you know, you get snappy with them, it's totally to be expected, because Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars is a planet of anger and aggression. So tempers have been running quite high. If it hasn't been for you, it's definitely been surrounding you. I would say more so with your friends than family, but hey, everyone's going through Mars retrograde at the same time. So Gemini, with your full moon in Aries being conjunct Chiron, do not resist if a friendship starts falling apart or fizzling out. And even if you find yourself deviating from your initial long-term goals or plans, and I don't mean plans that you made last month or like, you know, 6 months ago or whatever. I mean your long-held secret goals and dreams and like the vision for your whole life, if you have one. If this has come into or under scrutiny, and you know, you actually find yourself quite shocked that the direction that you had been going in, or that you thought that you wanted to go in for so many years, if all of a sudden that changes, again, don't resist it. It's completely normal with any retrograde planet, but especially with Mars retrograde, to start pivoting and changing the way that you strategize and take action and move forward. That's not to say it's going to be easy. Anytime a planet is retrograde, it takes a lot more effort to actually see through the steps that you want to take. And with this square to the Capricorn stellium in your 8th house, where we have Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto, this might have actually been causing a lot of inattention, and it might have been pressing on your insecurities and your deep fears and phobias, because the 8th house rules all of that. It rules our fears, phobias, and they don't just have to be things that have occurred to us or caused a fear from a young age, or something happening when you were a child or whatever. With Pluto there, it could even be something from a past life, if you believe in past lives. Whatever it is, you will be having to work at it really hard, and it's not like it's something that can just, you know, you can just snap yourself out of it overnight, because we've got these 3 planets here for many more months to come. With Pluto, it'll be there for a few more years, but more importantly, once Saturn moves out of your 8th house, which will be on the 17th of December, and actually Jupiter will move out on the 18th of December, you'll start feeling as though a weight has been lifted off of your shoulders, and like you can finally breathe again. Because anytime we have planets transiting the 8th house, you know, the 8th house is where the most psychological introspection is required, because it's, you know, the house of secrets, traumas, fears, anything taboo, sex, anything that we don't want to share with other people. This is all 8th house activity. So ever since Saturn entered your 8th house back in, I'd say it was May 2018, you might have been going through just like a whole rewiring of your inner psyche and your deep subconscious. So nonetheless, you know, things are going to start looking upwards once Pluto goes direct on the 4th of October, and also once Saturn moves out of there mid-December. Report back to me. I'd love to hear how you guys are doing after December, if not January. Moving along, we do also have Venus in Virgo in your 4th house. it's not a big deal. You know, Venus changes signs every few weeks. She won't spend all of October in your 4th house, but nonetheless, it's a lovely opportunity for you to beautify something in your house. You might be interested in redecorating a room or the whole house, or purchasing a beautiful piece of art, or, you know, like a nice crystal or whatever, just to pretty it up. You could be spending a lot of time in the garden, or you could be having a lot of fun with your immediate family, or even a really pleasant time with your mother in particular. Now we've got Mercury, which will be retrograde in your 6th house, and it's retrograde in Scorpio. So the 6th house rules over health, acts of service, pets, and employees, if you have any employees, or even if you hire any help around the house, whether that's a repair person or a tradesperson or a nanny, anyone that you employ or that you hire, that's all ruled by the 6th house. So when we have Mercury, which is your ruling planet, retrograde in any house, or so whichever house it's in, that then becomes the area of focus for you. And unfortunately, it's not a great time in those areas. It doesn't mean anything crazy is going to happen. Like I said, you're extremely used to your planet being retrograde, but basically where you can look out for potential miscommunications or some sort of misunderstanding or discord is first and foremost, or firstly with your employees or anyone that you hire. You might lose paperwork or documentation which is really important or pertinent to employing them, or you promised that you'd get them certain information by a certain time and it doesn't arrive, or you don't send it out on time. It's basically where you can miss deadlines and things just go awry, which is super annoying. Worst case scenario is that your employees might be gossiping, whether that's about you or someone else. It could definitely be about you because Mercury is your ruling planet, like I mentioned. But having said that, it doesn't have to be anything sinister or malicious. It could just be that someone got the wrong end of the stick, and that they were upset by something, they misunderstood it, and all of a sudden they've told someone else, they've told a colleague, and that they tell another person, and it's like a Chinese whisper situation. On another level, because this does rule, the 6th house does rule your health, you could find that some health issue that you've had in the past does flare up again, because we do have the ruling sign being Scorpio, and Scorpio is ruled by Mars, and Mars represents inflammation, rashes. It does also rule acute injuries. I don't think anything, there's going to be any kind of acute accident occurring because it's not the 1st house, which is the physical body. But just be mindful of anything to do with your arms and your hands, fingers, wrists, because Mercury rules these regions. If you are prone to arthritis or seizing up or anything to do with your arms, your hands, or whatever, just be extra careful. Don't spend so much time in the garden this month, or break your back doing these like home renovations with the Venus in your 4th house. Just take it easy a little bit. Now it actually is a great opportunity for you if there's any habit that you don't like, or whether it's like smoking or drinking too much or overindulging in sugar, whatever it is that's to do with health, this is actually a great opportunity for you to kick this habit for good, or implement what you were trying to do before. So let's just say that you've tried quitting smoking like 10 times or whatever. Whenever we have a planet that is retrograde, when we pick that activity back up, which we've started before, that is when we can actually attack things from a different perspective, because any problem that arises, you cannot solve it using the same mentality or mind frame in which it occurred. So the beauty of Mercury retrograde is that you can see things from a different perspective, and you can actually take advantage of implementing a new mentality towards this new habit. And with Mercury stationing direct and Mars stationing direct within about 24 hours of each other, I would say that, you know, this is the time where once and for all you can kick that habit to the curb for good and make it stick. So good luck, Gemini. I believe in you. I know you can do it. Again, I'd love to hear how you go with that, if that's what you're going to be doing this month. Now, on another level, we have the new moon in Libra on the 16th of October, and this is occurring in your 5th house. Now, the 5th house represents your creativity. It represents your children, specifically your firstborn. It represents anything that you are passionate about, hobbies. It also is the house of joy and the house of performance. So with the new moon occurring in the 5th, this denotes a new beginning. Now, it could be that if you have a child, again, especially your firstborn, that they have a positive new beginning occurring in their life. Or for you on a personal level, you could be taking up some new passion or hobby, something that you've been interested in for a long time. You've always wanted to do it, and you know, you finally have the time, or you know, have the guts to pursue it. Now, you might receive a little bit of opposition to this new beginning, because Mars is in opposition from the 11th house. It's opposing the 5th house. So, you know, worst case scenario is that, let's just say you're performing and you're putting this out to the masses, because the 11th house rules your fan base, also rules the internet. Let's just say you put something out there and, you know, people try to shut it down, or they're not that keen. Persist with it, because once Mars turns direct, you're going to find that it'll start being easier. This new thing which you love doing, it brings you a lot of joy. You're not going to be, you know, copping shade from others or having them be dismissive of you. Now, in terms of the full moon that is happening in your 12th house on the 31st of October, you might have been feeling in the lead up to this full moon, let's just say a week before or a few days before, some sort of discontent or some kind of inner restlessness. You might have even been experiencing a bit of insomnia. You're finding it difficult to sleep, or you're waking up in the middle of the night, and you know, the reason for this might be escaping you. You can't quite put your finger on what it is that's causing you to feel this way. And the reason for that is that the 12th house represents and rules over your subconscious self. It rules over your immediate past life, and it also rules over spirituality, meditation, rest, sleep. So when you have a full moon in the 12th, and more importantly, it's conjunct Uranus. You know, Uranus is like Mercury on steroids. It's a higher octave of knowledge and, you know, divine knowledge, and you might actually experience like a download, a fully formed idea that you download while you're asleep, or while you're meditating, or while you're doing anything that's creative or artistic, anything that puts you into a meditative state. You might just experience like a sudden flash of insight. In terms of the release, you might experience an overwhelming sense of having purged something from a past life, or something that has been causing you so much angst and anxiety, and you know, it's been building up for a while, because we've had Uranus transiting your 12th house in Taurus since mid 2018. So your entire subconscious is being reprogrammed. Now with the full moon, it's your emotional self, it's your instinctual self and your subconscious, and this is forming an exact conjunction. It's the 8th degree. This is as tight a conjunction as can be, basically. And wherever we have Uranus making heavy contact, whether that's a conjunction, a square, or an opposition, but the most powerful being a conjunction, this is where we can experience a sudden split, swift upheaval, change, or something absolutely shocking. Whatever it is going to be unexpected. And it doesn't mean that it has to be negative. Shocking doesn't always mean negative. And I know you Geminis, I know that change is the spice of life. So if anyone's going to handle this well, it's you guys. All I'm saying is, in the lead up to this full moon in Taurus on the 31st of October, happy Halloween, just make sure that you're actually tuning into your subconscious. If you don't do meditation that regularly, try and do it every day, a few days or even a week before you lead up to this full moon, because you know what's going on the inside manifests in the external. I know that that's like super deep right now, but what I'm trying to say is, if you don't do the inner work and you don't identify what it is that has been causing you this discontent, something upsetting is more likely to manifest in the external realm. So basically, Gemini, good luck with it. I'm a Gemini rising too, like I said, so I'm sure this one's going to hit me hard. But on a totally different note, it could actually be the release of some kind of artistic endeavor, because the 12th house rules any kind of isolated place, whether that's laboratories, art studios. The 12th house also rules our creativity and our imagination. So when you have a full moon, if you're not releasing or purging something that's, emotional, it's also a time to release something that you've been working on. So it could be a new website, it could be an art project, a piece of music that you've composed. The 12th house rules music. It is a good time to release your creative projects at the full moon, because that's when we come full circle. That's when we see the fruits of our labor and the culmination of what we've been working on. And perhaps you'll be putting it out on a platform that is Uranian in nature, so via technology, via the internet. It could even be something pertaining to modern science, anything futuristic, new technology, like I said. In any case, it is going to be an exciting month, especially for you guys Gemini, so take it easy. Make sure you've subscribed to my channel if you're enjoying these videos and you're enjoying my content, and I'll see you guys soon, and have a good one. Thanks Gemini. Bye for now.